Here's part 2 with dividing polynomials. We did long division in the previous video, so now we're going to do synthetic division. Synthetic division is using the coefficients of the polynomial and the a term of the linear divisor. So you can only use synthetic division when you're dividing by a linear polynomial. So x plus 2 is a linear polynomial with degree 1, coefficient of 1. So next you write the coefficients down of your polynomial that you're using. So x3 minus 14, x squared, 51x, negative 54. So we write those coefficients down. And we write negative 2 because it is the opposite of plus 2. We bring down the first coefficient and multiply. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and then you add. Negative 14 plus negative 2 is negative 16. You continue the process until you get to the end. If you have 0, that means you have a factor. If you have a remainder, like in this example, that means x squared minus 16x plus 83 is not divisible by x plus 2 evenly, because there is a remainder of negative 220. So we're going to do example. So we want to know, is x to the third minus 57x plus 56 divisible by x minus 7? We're going to use synthetic division because we have a linear polynomial, degree 1, coefficient of 1. So we want to write down a. A is 7 because it's opposite of your sign here. So we have 7. Next, I'm going to write down the coefficients of x to the third is 1. I'm going to put 0 because I am missing x squared. So I have 0x squared. That's why I have the 0 right there. Negative 57. That's my x term, and I have positive 56. So again, we have to have every degree from 3, 2, and 1. Since I was missing a degree 2, I added in with a 0. And I bring down the first coefficient and multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. And I add, and I get 7. Multiply, you have 49. And you add negative 57 plus 49 gives us negative 8. And 7 times negative 8 is negative 56, and when you add, you get 0. So I have x squared plus 7x minus 8. So x minus 7 is a linear factor. Of x to the third minus 57x plus 56. Why? This is the remainder. Remainder is 0, therefore it's a linear factor. With synthetic division, you have the remainder theorem, which says if you divide a polynomial that has a degree higher than 1 or equal to 1 by x minus a, then the remainder is p of a. P of a. So here's an example. Given that you have the polynomial x to the fifth minus 2x to the third minus x squared plus 2, they want to know what is this polynomial evaluated at p of 3. So P of 3, that means you do synthetic division with the coefficients. So you have 3, you have 1, you have 0, again because this is the x to the 4th, and this is the x term. Remember, you have to have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here's x to the 5th coefficient, x to the 4th coefficient, x to the 3rd coefficient. There's your x squared coefficient, and then there's your constant 2. So they did synthetic division, and with synthetic division, if you get a remainder, that is what the polynomial is evaluated at when x is 3. So when x is 3, your p of x is 182, or p of 3 is equal to 182. And you can easily check this by going 3 to the 5th minus 2, 3 to the 3rd minus 3 squared plus 2, and you do get 182. So there's two different ways to evaluate it. It's nice to know what this remainder actually means. It means that when p of 3, when you have p of 3, it's 182. So your remainder in this case is your polynomial evaluated at that number. So let's put it into use. So they give us a polynomial. They want to know, what is this polynomial evaluated at when x is negative 4. So you take negative 4. Here you're not switching your sign, because technically we are doing x plus 4. So we take our coefficients of 1, negative 3, negative 28, 0, 5, and 20. Again, this is x to the 5th, x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, and x. You need every single coefficient. Since there was no x squared, it's 0. And drop down the 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And again, you add. It's multiply, then add. So negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. So negative 4 times negative 7 is negative, or positive 28. So when you add negative 28 plus 28, you get 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. 5. And negative 4 times 20, or negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. And you get 0. So in this case, p of negative 4 is equal to 0, which means negative 4 is an x intercept. So this would be x to the 4th, this would be x to the 3rd, this would be x squared, and x. So negative 4 goes into the polynomial evenly. So if you have x plus 4 times x to the 4th minus 7x to the 3rd plus 5 is a factor. So that means negative 4 is a 0. Because if we set this equal to 0, negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So there's synthetic division very quickly. Again, synthetic division, it's coefficients, multiply, add. If you have any questions, see me after school, before school, or lunchtime.